Ryan sat in his small apartment, staring at the rejection email on his laptop. It was his third job application denial that week. The weight of disappointment felt heavier than ever. He had been job hunting for months with no success. Every no seemed like a confirmation that he wasn't good enough. His best friend, Mike, dropped by unexpectedly. Seeing Ryan's slumped shoulders, Mike said, "You're not giving up, are you?" Ryan sighed. "I'm trying, Mike, but I feel like I'm going nowhere. Every time I take a step forward, life pushes me back." Mike sat down, his face serious yet kind. "Ryan, do you know the story of how I started my restaurant?" Ryan shook his head. Mike began. "Years ago, I lost my job. I was broke and had no clue what to do. I loved cooking, but I didn't have money to open a big restaurant. Still, I decided to try. I borrowed a small cart and started selling sandwiches on the street. Some days, I only sold two or three. I felt embarrassed when people I knew saw me there. But I reminded myself, this is just the beginning." Slowly, word got around that my sandwiches were good. One day, a local cafe owner tried one and asked me to supply sandwiches to their shop. That gave me enough money to open a small diner. It wasn't easy, Ryan. I worked long hours, faced criticism, and doubted myself many times. But every day, I reminded myself, if I give up now, I'll never know how far I could have gone. Ryan listened intently, the weight on his chest lifting just a little. Mike continued, "Your journey is different, but the principle is the same. Life is tough, but you're tougher. Those rejection emails don't define your worth. They're just stepping stones to the right opportunity. Each no is bringing you closer to the yes you need." Ryan nodded, a small spark of determination lighting up in his eyes. The turning point, inspired by Mike's story, Ryan decided to keep going. He revised his resume, sought feedback, and practiced his interview skills. He also started doing freelance projects to build experience and earn money while applying for full-time jobs. The process was slow, but Ryan stayed focused. He reminded himself every day, "I'm not giving up." One day, Ryan got a call for an interview at a company he admired. He went in prepared, confident, and ready to show them his best self. A week later, he received an email, not a rejection this time, but an offer letter. Tears filled his eyes as he read the words. It wasn't just about getting a job. It was about proving to himself that persistence pays off. Why it matters. Years later, when Ryan faced new challenges, he always looked back on this experience. It became his proof that even when the road is bumpy, the destination is worth it. To anyone struggling, Ryan would say, your efforts are never wasted. Every step, no matter how small, is a step forward. Keep going, even when it feels impossible. You're capable of more than you realize. The only way to fail is to stop trying. Moral of the story: success often takes time, but perseverance leads to progress. Challenges are not roadblocks, they are opportunities to grow stronger. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and push you to keep going. Rejections are not the end, they're just redirections to something better. Never give up, because every effort brings you closer to your goals. Even on the hardest days, remember, the journey is worth it. Part 2. The first few weeks after Ryan decided not to give up were the hardest. Early mornings turned into late nights as he tried to balance his freelance projects, job applications, and improving his skills. There were moments of doubt, moments when his mind screamed, "What's the point?" One night, he sat at his desk, frustrated. A project he'd spent hours working on was returned with harsh criticism from the client. He felt like a failure. His hands trembled as he picked up his phone to call Mike. "I don't think I can do this anymore," Ryan said, his voice breaking. Mike listened patiently. "Ryan, have you ever seen how bamboo grows?" "Bamboo?" Ryan asked, confused. "Yes, bamboo. When you plant bamboo seeds, nothing happens for months, sometimes even years. You water it, care for it, and still, there's no sign of growth. Most people give up, thinking it's useless. But beneath the soil, the roots are growing strong, preparing to support the plant. Then one day, out of nowhere, it shoots up, sometimes over 90 feet in just a few weeks. Your hard work is like bamboo, Ryan. Just because you don't see progress now doesn't mean it's not happening. Keep watering your dreams. When the time is right, you'll grow taller than you ever imagined." Ryan closed his eyes, letting the words sink in. Small steps forward. Motivated by Mike's analogy, Ryan began focusing on small victories. Instead of stressing over things he couldn't control, he celebrated what he could achieve each day. He learned to write better cover letters and started getting responses from employers. He connected with professionals on social media, seeking advice and mentorship. He took online courses to sharpen his skills, one topic at a time. With each step, his confidence grew. An unexpected opportunity. One evening, Ryan attended a free workshop on career building. It was a last-minute decision. He almost didn't go because he felt tired and unmotivated. But something inside him said, "Go." At the workshop, he met a guest speaker who shared her own story of struggle. She talked about how rejection and failure had shaped her journey to success. After the session, Ryan approached her, introduced himself, and shared his story. To his surprise, she smiled and said, "We've all been there, Ryan. But you're doing the right things, learning, growing, and showing up. That's what matters." They exchanged contact information. And a week later, she emailed him about a job opening at her company. Ryan applied, went through multiple interviews, and eventually receive an offer. It wasn't just a job, it was the kind of opportunity he'd been dreaming about. The lesson learned. Sitting at his new desk on his first day at work, Ryan reflected on the journey. It hadn't been easy, but every rejection, sleepless night, and moment of self-doubt had prepared him for this. He sent Mike a message. "You were right about the bamboo. Thank you for reminding me to keep watering my dreams." Mike replied, "Proud of you, my friend. This is just the beginning." Moral of the story. Progress may not always be visible, but it's happening beneath the surface. Small, consistent efforts lead to big changes over time. Opportunities often come when you least expect them, but only if you stay prepared. Surrounding yourself with positive influences can change your mindset and your life. Believe in your journey. Even when it feels slow, growth takes time. The story isn't just about Ryan. It's about all of us. We all face moments when giving up feels easier, but it's in those moments that resilience is built. Keep going. You never know when your bamboo will start to grow. Part 3. Months passed, and Ryan had settled into his new job. Every day brought fresh challenges, but instead of dreading them, he welcomed them. For the first time in years, he felt like he was moving forward, not just in his career, but in his mindset. But life wasn't done testing him yet. The next challenge. One day, Ryan's manager called him into the office. "We're impressed with your work, Ryan. There's a new project coming up, and we'd like you to lead it." Ryan froze. "Led a project? Him?" Doubts crept in. What if I mess up? What if I'm not good enough? He wanted to say no, but then he remembered Mike's words. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. Taking a deep breath, he said, "I'd be honored to lead it." The pressure mounts. The project wasn't easy. It required long hours, coordinating with different teams, and making tough decisions. Ryan felt the weight of responsibility. One evening, as he worked late in the office, his computer crashed, and he lost hours of progress. Frustrated and on the verge of tears, he called Mike again. "Why does it feel like every step forward comes with 2 steps back?" Ryan asked. Mike chuckled. "Because that's how growth works. Think of it like lifting weights. The heavier it feels, the stronger you're getting. Trust me, Ryan, you've got this." Ryan smiled despite himself. "I don't know where I'd be without your analogies." A moment of realization. The project deadline arrived. Ryan and his team presented their work to the executives. As he stood at the front of the room, explaining their strategy, he felt a surge of confidence. For the first time, he realized something important. The struggle wasn't a sign of failure. It was proof that he was growing. The executives were impressed, and the project was approved. Ryan's manager congratulated him, saying, "You've got leadership potential. Keep pushing yourself." Giving back. Ryan didn't forget the people who had supported him along the way. He started mentoring new employees, sharing his experiences and lessons. One day, a junior colleague approached him, looking anxious. "Ryan, I don't think I'm cut out for this job. Everything feels so overwhelming." Ryan smiled, recognizing the doubt in her eyes. "Let me tell you a story," he said. He shared his journey, from his struggles to his small victories and the importance of persistence. By the end, she nodded. "Thanks, Ryan. I needed to hear that." Looking ahead, as Ryan walked home that evening, he felt a sense of peace. Life was still full of challenges, but he no longer feared them. He had learned that struggles weren't barriers. They were opportunities to grow stronger. And while he didn't know what the future held, he knew one thing for certain: he would never give up. Moral of the story, Part 3. Growth comes from challenges that push you beyond your limits. Every struggle is an opportunity to become stronger and more resilient. Leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to learn and inspire others. Giving back and sharing your journey can motivate others to persevere. The path to success is never smooth, but persistence always pays off. Ryan's story reminds us that while life may be full of struggles, those very struggles are what shape us into stronger, more capable individuals. No matter how tough it gets, remember, never give up. Part 4. Life continued to unfold for Ryan. And while he had found his footing in his career, new challenges emerged in other areas. It seemed like every time he conquered one hill, another appeared on the horizon. But this time, Ryan saw these struggles differently. He knew they were tests, not meant to break him, but to build him. A personal challenge. One evening, as Ryan sat at his kitchen table, his mother called. Her voice was shaky. "Ryan, your dad's health isn't good. He needs treatment, but it's expensive." Ryan's heart sank. His father had always been his silent supporter, the kind of man who never asked for help. Now, it was Ryan's turn to step up. He looked at his savings. It wasn't enough to cover the costs. The thought of failing his family brought back the familiar weight of doubt. What if I can't handle this? But then, he remembered everything he had already overcome. He told himself, "I've faced storms before. I can face this too." A plan in motion, Ryan started working extra hours, picking up freelance projects in his spare time. It was exhausting, but he refused to give up. At the same time, he reached out to his network. He remembered a colleague who had once organized a community fundraiser for medical expenses. Inspired, Ryan decided to do the same. Through social media and local events, he rallied friends, neighbors, and even strangers to contribute. The response was overwhelming. People shared kind words, small donations, and even their own stories of overcoming hardships. The unexpected gift. One night, Ryan received a message from someone he didn't recognize. "Ryan, I heard about your dad. Years ago, you gave me advice during a tough time at work. That advice changed my life. Let me help." The next morning, A significant donation appeared in the fundraiser account. It was enough to cover a big portion of the treatment costs. Ryan was overwhelmed. He realized that the good we do, even the smallest acts of kindness, always finds a way back to us. A renewed purpose. As his father's treatment began, Ryan noticed something else: the strength of his family bond. The situation brought them closer. They shared meals, laughter, and even tears. Ryan's father, though weak, said, "I'm proud of you. So, you've become a man who doesn't give up." Those words meant more to Ryan than any success he had ever achieved. The ripple effect. Ryan's determination not only helped his father, but also inspired those around him. His colleagues, friends, and even strangers admired his resilience. People started coming to him for advice, not just about work, but about life. He realized that his struggles had given him something priceless: the ability to guide others through their own storms. Looking forward, years later, as Ryan stood in front of a crowd at a leadership seminar, he shared his story, the setbacks, the doubts, and the victories. He ended his talk with a simple message: life will test you. It will knock you down and make you question your strength. But remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow. When you feel like giving up, take one more step. That's when the magic happens. Never give up. You're stronger than you think. The room erupted in applause. But Ryan knew the real reward was seeing hope ignite in the faces of those listening. Moral of the story, part 4. Hard times can strengthen family bonds and deepen relationships. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, always have a ripple effect. Challenges don't define you. Your response to them does. Sharing your struggles and lessons can inspire others to keep going. The strength to overcome is already within you. Sometimes, it just takes a storm to reveal it. Ryan's journey shows us that no matter how heavy the burden or how steep the climb, persistence, faith, and kindness can carry us through. Life may challenge us, but it also rewards those who refuse to give up. Years passed, and Ryan's life continued to evolve. His father made a full recovery, and the bond within his family grew even stronger. The struggles Ryan had faced were now memories, chapters in his life that he revisited not with regret, but with pride. He had come a long way from the boy who doubted himself, the young man afraid to take risks, and the person who once thought life's challenges were too much to bear. Every setback, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt had shaped him into the person he was today: resilient, compassionate, and determined. Giving back to the world, Ryan had a dream, one that grew out of his own journey. He wanted to help others navigate their struggles. He started a mentorship program for young people in his community. The program focused on teaching life skills, building confidence, and reminding people that giving up was never the answer. In his workshops, he shared his stories, not just of his successes, but of his failures too. He talked about the moments when he felt lost, the times he wanted to quit, and how he had found the strength to keep going. You don't have to have it all figured out. He would tell his audience, you just need to keep moving, one step at a time. A full circle moment. One evening, as Ryan walked through his neighborhood, he saw a young man sitting alone on a park bench. The boy looked frustrated, his head in his hands. Ryan approached him and asked, "Are you okay?" The boy hesitated before saying, "I'm just tired of trying. Nothing works out for me." Ryan smiled gently and sat beside him. "I know how that feels," he said. Over the next hour, Ryan shared pieces of his own journey, the struggles, the failures, and the lessons. He told the boy, "You may feel stuck now, but this is just one chapter. Your story isn't over yet." The boy's eyes lit up with a spark of hope. As they parted, Ryan handed him a small notebook and said, "Write down your dreams, and then write down one small step you can take tomorrow to move closer to them. Never give up. You'll get there." A life well lived. As Ryan walked away, he thought about how far he had come. He no longer saw challenges as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow. The doubts that once held him back were now voices of encouragement. Ryan's life was not perfect. There were still struggles and uncertainties, but he faced them with the unshakable belief that he could overcome anything. Looking up at the stars that night, Ryan whispered to himself, "Thank you, life, for every challenge, every failure, and every lesson. I am who I am today because I never gave up." And with that, he walked home, ready to face whatever tomorrow would bring, knowing that he had the strength to rise again, no matter what. Final moral of the story: every struggle is a stepping stone to growth. When you feel like giving up, remember that your story isn't over yet. Helping others in their struggles can bring immense joy and purpose. Success isn't about never falling. It's about always rising after you fall. Life's challenges shape us into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate people. This story reminds us that resilience, hope, and determination can transform even the hardest moments into powerful lessons. No matter where you are in life, never give up. You are stronger than you think, and brighter days are always ahead. I'm so glad you spent this time with me. If you like the story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Take care, and see you next time.